Hello, I'm Ed Skirka, the basketball coach of public speaking. The video you're going to watch contains 32 basic public speaking and communication skills that will help you in your everyday life, speaking at the office, speaking at church, speaking up at your town council, delivering some important speech at work, or if you have students, make sure they get to see this material because it will help them with their book reports, their science reports, or any speaking they have to do in school, including running for an office. And that goes for adults too. 32 basic skills of public speaking are broken down into two basic parts. Number one, your voice. We're going to talk about all the skills of your voice. And then the last, those are the first 8. And then we're going to talk about things to keep in mind, things to remember that you need to use, skills you need to use when you are in front of an audience. So, all of these skills are available, more information is available on www.publicspeakingworkout.com and my personal website, publicspeakingadvocate.com, the name of my company. So, please visit our website and let's go right into our 32 skills of public speaking and communication. Our number one skill is speak with confidence. How are you going to appear when you stand before the audience? Do you want to be there umming and ahhing and wiggling back and forth? You're going to be perceived as weak. You're not projecting confidence. You're not projecting a strong self-image. You want to speak with confidence. You want to project a confident image. Speak with a bold, powerful, confident voice. You have to test your voice. You have to find out, first of all, what venue you're speaking in and practice in that venue. Are you speaking in a small setting with 2 or 3 people, or is it a larger classroom setting with 20 or 30 people, or are you speaking to a grand audience? Are you going to have a microphone? Is it going to be a lavalier microphone? Are you going to be stuck at a lectern with a fixed microphone? Or are you going to have a microphone on a rope? Practice the situation. But even before you get into that situation, at home, practice your level of volume, your level of speaking projection. Know what it's like to speak in a soft voice. Know what you can do with your voice in a medium range. And know what you can do with your voice in a louder, more powerful range when you need it. You have to be able to adapt to each of those ranges when it's needed. You have to make the discernment when you get into that particular situation. Next, we want to control our volume for the situation. If you're speaking to 100 people in a theater-style seating with no microphone, well, you know you need to project your voice so that every single person in your audience can hear you. Certainly, you're going to have to turn it down if you're giving a presentation at work, that daily meeting with 2 or 3 or 4 people. You're going to have to tone it down a little bit. And certainly if there's something in between there, you're going to have to rise to that situation. The thing is, you have to be aware of it. What is the situation I'm speaking? How big is the room? Is there ambient noise? Is there an air conditioning in the background? What are you going to do when a police car or fire truck goes by or a plane flies overhead? Are you going to stop speaking? Or are you going to speak up over that noise so your audience can continue receiving your information? Again, it's something you're going to have to adapt to on the spot. And we're all going to run into those situations. Maybe they're cutting the grass or blowing leaves right outside the window. So you're going to have to adapt to that. Maybe they're vacuuming in the office next door. What is the situation? So you have to adjust your voice, the volume. You have a volume control every bit as much as your stereo does. So learn how to operate that volume control. And it's all up here, ladies and gentlemen. You can do it. You have to be aware of it. And it is a skill. You have to practice, and practice starts at home. Using a microphone is skill number 3. And if you're speaking in a venue where you are using a microphone, is it your own lavalier mic? Well, then get there early. Set it up. Set up all of your equipment. If you have a wireless or whether you are wired in, you need to check it. Have someone work with you. Can you hear me back in that corner? Can you hear me over there? Do a mic test. We've all heard at the beginning of a concert or before a speech someone saying, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that's what that's for. That's the mic check. If you're in a venue where there is technical staff there, we'll make sure that you get there early enough that you can work with the technical staff. Make sure your equipment is working and make sure that you know the sound level and that every single person in your audience can hear what you're saying. That's your responsibility as a speaker. Pitch is a quality of our voice. Do we have a really high-pitched voice? Or do we have that deep, profound baritone voice? Whatever your voice is, it's your tool, and you have to work with the tools that you were given. Now, if you have, for a very dainty female or a very small woman with a very high-pitched voice, or a man with a deep baritone, or anyone with any voice in between, adjust to your tool. If you have a high-pitched voice, work with it, but make sure that you are controlling the volume and the power of it. And when I say the power of it, that's speaking from your diaphragm. Back in high school or grade school when we sang in a choir, they taught us to sing from our diaphragm. That controls the flow of air into and out of our lungs. So project your voice. Make sure that whether you have a high-pitched or a low-pitched voice, that air is flowing fully over your vocal cords to project your voice out to your audience. And that you can control the power of that volume that is going out. And the volume and the pitch are directly related. If you have a deep voice, make sure that you've got the power in that deep range to project it so that every single word is understood. And the same thing if you're a soprano. From the opposite point of view, make sure there's enough power there that every single person is able to understand every single word that you say. Vocal variety, point number 5, is so very important because it colors our speech. How many professors in college or in high school put you to sleep by droning on and on and on in a monotone voice with no voice variation at all? Nothing was exciting, nothing was serious, nothing was important. It was all the same level. And we all got a few extra Z's in high school or college because of that. Well, what kind of a speaker do you want to be? What kind of a speaker do you want to hear? Do you want to hear that speaker that has voice variation, that uses that skill, that when he's excited, you know he's excited? When something is really important and he wants to emphasize that point, that you can hear that in his voice? That when he's telling a sad story, that you can tell that in his voice too? That is a key skill in all of our public speaking skills. The voice variety, voice variation. So understand that it's an important skill and use it. We all do it on our daily speaking. If I'm speaking to you one-on-one over a cup of coffee or a soda in your home, chances are you're going to have a lot of voice variation because we do it naturally. The thing is, so many of us forget that skill or don't use it when we get up in front of an audience. And because the fear and the adrenaline is flowing and we're in a fear and stress producing situation, the thing is, we want to make sure that we remember that skill so that we do put a little excitement in our voice, so that we color our speech with our emotions. And we do that with the voice variation, the vitality of our voice.